Right, what do you reckon? I think one final push and we might just have a majority verdict.
Well, that would be great, but we've got to remember what the judge said. We need a unanimous verdict. OK, back to it.
Right. I appreciate that some of us might be starting to flag. We're all keen to get home and all the rest of it, but come on. We owe it to Belle to make sure that we have considered every detail, that we've weighed up every testimony.
Of course.
Right, but there's still 4 of us standing in the way of an early finish. Just saying.
And I wouldn't exactly say early.
Unless Team Tom has claimed anyone else in the break.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're implying.
Not implying anything. Kenneth, perhaps you have something you might like to add?
No, I don't think so. Not at the moment.
In that case, then, can we concentrate on life after the marriage breakup, which for Tom meant Amelia, and though they're no longer together, she clearly has no issues with the way he treated her, given that she's a witness for the defence.
I appreciate this must be a difficult situation for you, Miss Spencer, so I'll try and keep my questions to a minimum. In the time you and Mr. King were together, was he ever physically violent towards you?
Well, no.
How about his relationship with your daughter, Esther? Any concerns for violence there?
No. He was actually always really good with her.
Turning now to the day the defendant ended up with an axe in his back. I believe you helped orchestrate the meeting between Mrs. King and her husband. What would you say your motives were at the time?
He wanted to speak to her because she was going to go to the police about him.
So you spoke to Mrs. King and said what, exactly? It's important for you to be as accurate as possible here, please.
I told her that I wanted to talk to her in private.
Would it be fair to say that you purposefully allowed Mrs. King to believe that you had something to tell her that might add to her allegations against her husband?
Yes.
But in truth, you didn't believe her allegations, did you? Again, a simple yes or no will suffice.
No.
I imagine you might have had cause to reconsider your ploy if you'd known the man you were in a relationship with, the man you very much believed to be innocent, would end up with an axe in his back.
I wasn't there. I didn't see what happened. It was just Tom and Belle. They're the only ones that know what actually happened, but...
Thank you. No more questions.
Anyone else find it odd that Tom is in a relationship so soon after the split and with someone Amelia's age?
Well, maybe he just wanted something a bit less complicated after all he'd been through.
Or maybe someone young and naive enough to believe him over the woman he put through hell.
Oh, you make a good point. I mean, if Tom is as controlling as you say, then Amelia would be perfect. Young single mother struggling to make ends meet with no real family near her, unlike Belle.
And just because Tom didn't abuse Amelia, and let's be clear, we're not certain about that, doesn't prove that he didn't do those things to Belle. Domestic abuse can and does happen to anyone. In fact, at least one of us around this table has probably had experience of it one way or another.
We know Tom was keen to start a family. Maybe that was part of what drew him to Amelia. Because with her and her daughter, that's like a ready-made family.
Yeah, a child that Belle couldn't take away from him, a family of his own, just like he'd always wanted.
When I found out we were going to have a baby, that we were going to be a family, it was everything I ever wanted. What I thought we both wanted.
Then came the news that your wife had miscarried.
Suddenly, everything I'd imagined, everything I'd dreamed of was gone. I was devastated. As for Belle, I couldn't even begin to imagine how it must have felt for her.
I don't know what I was thinking. All I know is that I was scared of him. And that having a baby in that moment, it would have been a mistake.
To go through all of that grief together, only to find out the truth, that she'd lied. She'd aborted our baby. Well, that's when I realized that our marriage was over.
She lied to him over and over, and they weren't just little lies. I mean, all right, if he was controlling her or abusing her or whatever.
That's still abuse, Carl, just to be clear.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it right, does it, the things she did? Lying, the abortion, the pill.
Do you know something? I'm just going to get some fresh air.
What, you don't have an opinion?
My opinion is irrelevant. Nothing Belle did was criminal.
No, it was borderline psychotic, and that fits the profile. She clearly wanted to hurt him.
No, Carl. She clearly loved him. But at the same time, she was scared. Scared of making him angry, scared of upsetting him. Scared that people would find out who the man she loved was really like. But most of all, she was scared of what he was capable of. Can you imagine what that's like? And each new day that passes while she tries desperately to think of new ways to keep him happy, he gains a little bit more control, climbs a little bit further into her head, till one day, she can't remember what life was like before he was there.
You talked a lot about family and children, Mr. King. Would you say that family is important to you?
I had wanted one of my own, so yes, I would say so.
You stayed with your uncle and his family after your relationship with Mrs. King ended. How was that?
I was grateful to them for putting a roof over my head, if that's what you mean.
I wonder, did you still feel the same way after you found out that your aunt had taken your young cousin to tell the police what he told her? How you hounded and terrorized him over the whereabouts of a tablet computer. The very same tablet you'd in fact told the police you'd lost.
Because I had.
Or perhaps more accurately, attempted to dispose of. How must it have felt, do you suppose, for a young boy to unwittingly stumble upon his cousin smashing up said tablet in a fit of utter rage?
As I said to the police, that never happened.
I wonder what was on that tablet to have provoked such extreme behavior. It's rather a pity that your uncle's home wasn't rigged up with cameras too. Start with the puppy cam. Then there's the CCTV cameras monitoring the outside of the house, the motion sensors fitted to all the windows.
It's not a crime to be security conscious.
How about the tracker you secretly installed on your wife's phone? And the tiny, almost undetectable screw head cameras you concealed in every room, including the bathroom. Did your wife know about those too? The same cameras responsible for the video footage you hid from the police on the tablet you claimed you lost.
Again, it's not a crime to install cameras in your own home.
Except it was no longer your home, was it? Those cameras were in fact installed after you had moved out, after your marriage had ended.
No.
Fortunately, the police were able to recover your missing tablet and its contents. Video footage, all indeed recorded after you had moved out, proving beyond all reasonable doubt that not only were you lying to the police when you claimed you had only installed one camera, of which Mrs. King was aware, but that you knowingly withheld evidence. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, ask yourselves, are these the actions of a man whose only motivations were safety and security? After you've considered that, ask yourselves, just what else might Mr. King have lied about today?